Good morning. Good morning, my dear friends, my fellow believer. Good morning to you all. Welcome. Welcome to the studios of the Evangelist Ministry. From the studios of the Evangelist Ministry, we spread the good news about Jesus Christ and His saving grace. Our mission is to lead people unto salvation. Our mission is to lead people into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ. My dear friends, the subject of this morning, keep your eyes on the road. Let's open the Bible and we'll read in the book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 to the 27. The Bible said this: Therefore, whosoever hear this saying of mine and do them, I will like him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the flood came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon the rock. And every one that hear the saying of mine and do them not, shall be like unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the flood came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended this saying, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. Good morning to you, my friends. How important is to keep our eyes upon the rod. Yes, my dear friends, upon the rod. How important is to keep your eyes on the road to prevent an accident, falling over the cliff, or having a big loss, then feel disappointed. Yes. Today, my dear friends, I remember a pretty young woman, very interested in learning God's way. But a stumbling block came to her life. And as the Bible said, the rain descended, the flood came, and the winds blew and beat on that young woman, and she did not fall. But great were her conviction in her heart. And it's a good example. The Bible teaches us in this way. And the rain descended, and the flood came, and the winds blew, and beat upon the house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon the rock. Matthew 7:25. My dear friend, this verse teach us how important it is to keep our eyes upon Jesus. Not in the problem, not in the affliction, not in disappointment or in sickness, but turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full on His wonderful face. With our eyes and thought, heart and word fixes on Jesus, we will be able to be as strong and courageous, all of you who put your hope in the Lord. The Bible said, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you that hope in the Lord. The book of Psalms 31 verse 24. My dear friends, when we focus on Jesus Christ, we can trust our path will be straight and trustworthy every step of the way. Why? Because Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and life. No man come unto the Father but by me, according to John 14:6. In another word, Jesus says to him, I am the way, the true and the only true, and the life. If you keep your eyes upon Jesus, you will never be disappointed in this life. The Bible says, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which lead unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:14. In other words, the Bible is telling all for the gate is narrow and the way is hard that lead to life, and those who find are very few. Also, the psalmist said, my eyes are ever toward the Lord, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. Book of Psalm chapter 25 verse 15. In other words, the psalmist is telling us this morning. The psalmist said, my eyes are always on the Lord, for he rescued me from the traps of my enemies. Yes, indeed, keeping our eyes on Jesus will take us away from the harm and affliction. Yes, my dear friends, keeping your eyes on Jesus will take you away from harm and affliction. That's the way it is. Have you ever tried to make perfectly a straight line of footprint in the snow? It's just a simple example, and I hope it's a good example to you. Have you ever tried to make a perfectly straight line of footprint in the snow? It is not as easy as you might think. Many people would tread slow and steady, head down, focusing intensely on their feet. Listen to me carefully. Focusing intensely on their feet. Whenever someone faces this challenge with their eyes turned downward, you can be sure that they will fail. Why they will fail? Those footprints will be as crooked as can be. Why? Because you're not focusing on the road. You're focusing on your feet. That's why you can be sure that they will fail. Those footprints will be as crooked as can be. Thus said the Lord, the Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, I am the Lord your God, which teach you to profit, which lead you by the way that thou should go. Isaiah 48:17. When you are walking with your eyes look down to your feet, you have no idea which way you are going. That happened. And that happened in our personal life. If we start focusing on our problems, and our tribulations, and our sickness, we take off our eyes from the Lord. That's why it's very important that we keep our eyes upon Jesus. When you are walking with your eyes looking down to your feet, you have no idea where you are going. It also happened when you take your eyes from Jesus Christ. The same is true in our spiritual life. If we walk through life concentration and concentrating inwardly, putting our eyes inwardly, we will fail to see the bigger picture and likely go off course. But when we focus beyond ourselves, fixing our thought and spiritual eyes on Jesus Christ, we can trust our path will be straight and trustworthy every step of the way. Yes, my dear friends. When we focus in our sickness, when we focus in our tribulation or affliction, we take our eyes from Jesus Christ. Happen when you take your eyes from Jesus Christ. The same is true in our spiritual life. If we walk through life concentrating inwardly, we will fail to see the bigger picture and let go off a course. But when we focus beyond ourselves, fixing our thought and spiritual eyes on Jesus Christ, we can trust our path will be straight and trustworthy every step of the way. Isaiah said, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusts in thee." Isaiah 26:3. My dear friends, he keeps completely safe the people who maintain their faith in him. Yes, my dear friends, he keeps completely safe the people who maintain their faith in him, for they trust in you. There is a promise from the Lord. They shall not hunger, they not thirsty, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that had mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Isaiah 49:10-11. In other words, my dear friends, we need to focus on Jesus Christ so we can remain faithful and full of hope of a new tomorrow. No matter what's going on around us in this moment, but when we focus on Jesus Christ, so we can remain faithful and full of hope without one tomorrow. A tomorrow that will be a blessing to us. No matter what's going on around us, we need to remember God's presence, God's power, and God's promises. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your heart on things above, where Jesus Christ is sitting at the right hand of God. My dear friends, as I said before, as a Jesus Christ follower, we need to stay tuned on the truth. Yes, my dear friend, as I said before, as a Christian follower, we need to stay focused on the truth. We need to focus on Jesus Christ so we can remain faithful and full of hope for tomorrow. No matter what's going on around us today, we need to remember God's presence, God's power, God's promises. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your heart on things above. What Christ is, sit at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. The Bible said, let's listen. Listen to this, what the Bible says. If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is. Yes, where Christ is, sit at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory, according to Colossians chapter 3, verse 1 to 5. My dear friends, keep your eyes on the road. Let's think about how important it is to keep your eyes on the road to prevent an accident, falling over the cliff, or having a big loss and then feel disappointed. My dear friends, as I said in the beginning of the sermon, I remember this pretty girl, very interested in learning in God's ways. But a stumbling block came to her life. And the rain descended. The flood came and the winds blew and beat on that poor young woman. But my dear friends, as she did not fall, but great were her conviction in her heart. The Bible teaches us the same. And the rain descended, and the flood came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon the rock. Matthew 7:25. My dear friends, this verse teaches us how important it is to keep our eyes upon Jesus. Not in the problem, not in the affliction, not in sickness, but turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full on his wonderful face. With our eyes, thought, heart, and words fixed on Jesus, we will be able to be strong and courageous. All you can put your hope in the Lord. The Bible said, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen you, your heart, all you that hope in the Lord. Psalms 31:24. My dear friend, when we focus on Jesus Christ, we can trust our path will be straight and trustworthy every step of the way. Why? Because Jesus Christ said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come unto the Father but by me. Jesus said in the book of John 14:6. My dear friends, we can get to a conclusion this morning. We can get into a conclusion this morning. Let's think about, my dear friends, 3 ways to keep our focus on Jesus. 3 ways, I say. With all the wind and waves that threat to distract us in this life, how do we keep our focus on Jesus? These are 3 things that are helping me set aside a regular time for Bible study and prayer. Bible study and prayer will keep my eyes upon Jesus. Believe it or not. These are 3 things that are helping me set aside a regular time for Bible study and prayer. Make a study and meditating God's Word each day a top priority for you to keep your eyes upon Jesus. You could also make a habit to always pray in a certain time, in a specific situation, like when you are cleaning your house, driving to work, or standing online at the grocery store. But pray. Pray on a daily basis. Personally, I have found that morning prayer is a biggest blessing to my life. I pray for me. I pray for my ministry. I pray for my family. Yes, I have found that morning prayer and Bible study time is essential in my personal life. It helped me to set my mind in heavenly things. Whether I am able to spend only a few minutes or a half hour or 1 hour, I usually read the Bible passage and I am able to spend only few minutes or half hour. Doesn't matter. I usually read a Bible passage and or some kind of devotional and I spend at least a few minutes in prayer or more. If I have time, more than 5 minutes, more than 10 minutes, more than 30 minutes. The Bible said, pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17. My dear friends, if we pray, God will give us a single-minded purpose to live in a way that we always show respect for Him. We will want to do for our own good and the good of the children who descended from us. My dear friends, in Jeremiah, I read this, and I will give them one heart and one way, that they might fear me forever, for the good of them and for their children after them. My dear friend, while we do good, the blessing not just stop on us, but will continue in my children and my grandchildren. God bless America. God bless America. My dear friend, it's wonderful to be here, and I'm very thankful that I have the opportunity to preach. My dear friends, God bless you, and God bless America.